Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Jeff Trenopole, and as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the Cincinnati Cyclones. I hope you can see that, two-time Stanley Cup, Kelly Cup champions. Anyway. So if you found the show, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. I have added 2 more people than yesterday. That is awesome. I'm up to 664 subscribers. Trying to keep it rolling, trying to get to 700 as fast as I can. Now, as you may or may not know, this show and every show is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. All right, guys. So I was really looking forward to football, Bearcat football this Saturday since we had a bye week. But unfortunately, news came out today that the University of Cincinnati football game at Tulsa has been postponed due to COVID-19 cases and quarantine of student athletes. The AAC announced Friday that the game has been rescheduled for Saturday, December 5th. Now, Cincinnati's athletic director, John Cunningham, said, "We are disappointed. We will be unable to play Tulsa Saturday. We knew the season was going to require lots of patience and lots of flexibility, and disruptions were likely to happen. But the health and safety of the student athletes, coaches, and staff is always our primary focus, and we appreciate the outstanding work and continued dedication of our medical staff throughout this pandemic." Now, I don't know how many cases. I don't know who it was. They're probably not going to tell us, which, that's fine. It's not really our business, that's my opinion. But it still kind of sucks that the Bearcats will not be playing. Like I said, I kind of missing them last Saturday. So this Saturday is out. So moving on to Bengals news. Now everybody knows, defensive end Sam Hebbard got injured. Well, Sam was placed on injured reserve today. He's a 3-year player out of the Ohio State. That's for my boy Jeremy Dean. He suffered a left elbow injury last Sunday against Baltimore. Yeah, he dislocated his elbow. That's not good. All right. He has started all 5 games for the Bengals this season, totaled 23 tackles and a sack. Now, Carlos Dunlap, you were complaining about not getting playing time or not starting this past week. Well, you got to step up, man. And the thing is, one thing I want to say that with the Bengals getting all these injuries and everything, and a lot of them are some of our big name free agents that we've lost. We need some of our big name veterans that have been here a while, and highly paid veterans, I should say, to really step up. Like I'm talking about Carlos Dunlap, Geno Atkins. He got to play last week. That's his first game he's played. So his snap count and everything has to increase big time this week. And AJ Green, you need to step up, brother. We need you guys. You're the veterans. You've been here longer than anybody else. This is the time for you guys to shine and step up and get some playing time and hopefully help the Bengals beat the Colts. I really do think the Bengals got a shot at beating the Colts. But I got an interesting thing. I never knew this, but did you know Archie Manning, that's, the dad to Eli and Peyton, him and Joe freaking Burrow are text buddies. Archie and Joe became friends after Joe attended the Manning passing camp in college. Archie texted Joe after Joe's worst game of the season, which was last week, and we all saw it. He said, "Keep your head up." Then he told a little story about Jack and Diane. Oh, sorry. I just do that every time I hear that. My singing's terrible. Anyway, he told him a little story about Eli. Eli had a zero passer rating game. This was in his 4th NFL start. Eli went 4 for 18, 27 yards, 0 TDs, 2 INTs, and a 37-14 loss. Guess who it was against? Yeah, the Ratbirds. So the way that our offense and our offensive line and everything looked this past week against the Ratbirds, they do that to a lot of people, and especially rookie quarterbacks. So this past week was, for me, the very first time that Joe freaking Burrow looked like a rookie QB. The biggest thing, he's got to step up and bounce back from this game this past week. And Dave Lapham, I think, has some pretty good points about the O-line and their performance and just in general on Sunday. You know, they on the Bengals Booth podcast, Dan Horde asked him, was it mostly the offensive line's fault, or was it generally everybody's? Dave said it was a good part, the offensive line. But now this is a total Dave Lapham analogy. But everybody's suit got a little dirty. From the O-line to the quarterback holding onto the ball too long. That's another point we didn't really get into. The wide receiver is not getting any separation. So if Joe had time to throw the ball, he didn't have anywhere to throw it to. The tight ends missing their assignments. And this is one thing he said, and I agreed with this. I said this on multiple shows this week. The biggest thing I didn't like, and this is where I've come to blame the offensive line coach, and it might not just be him, it might be the offensive coordinator and all this stuff, but just the missing assignments, the missing blocks. Because one thing Dave said, and he's an offensive lineman, so he would know way more than I do. He said you block from the inside out. So you want to make the guys run around to try to get to the quarterback, because straight line is the fastest way to point A to point B. We had so many guys come straight up the middle and unblocked. Those are the things for me, and Dave said it too, that cannot happen. Cannot happen. They've got to straighten that out. They've got to get that fixed. Hopefully that'll happen Sunday. Now, one thing somebody said, one of the questions I think Zach got was, since Baltimore blitzed the Bengals so much and they were awful at it, the Colts are not known for blitzing, but they might blitz you, because once the NFL is like blood in the water, once they find something out that you're not good at, they're going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it until you figure it out. All right, we're trying to get some questions in here. Let's see here. All right, Facebook user. So excited that with all the injuries and our horrible line, we can clearly see he is our future. Great quarterback, so happy. Yes. Now, one thing I will tell you about this, I got some information about his future, and hopefully it's a long future. This is where the offensive line, and I've said this a million times, I've been talking about it all week, talking about it all season, has got to protect him, got to figure something out. And I'll put it to you this way. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is one thing. I'll pose a question to you guys. I think that it's gotten to the point where Zach Taylor has got to recondition his thinking about what this offense can do, because our offensive line is as good as it's going to get. I don't see us finding some miracle guy coming off the bench to fix this. And it doesn't seem like any offensive schemes as far as blocking patterns are working very well. So to me, it's like the most important thing is to keep Joe Burrow healthy. So that's where I think Zach has got to kind of change. Zach and Callahan, the offense coordinator, have got to change the offense a little bit to what they can actually do with this offense line. It's kind of, I'll put it this way. The Ratbirds did that with Lamar Jackson. They completely changed their offense. So the skill positions are to what Lamar Jackson can do, to his skill position. The whole offense revolves around him. To me right now, this offense has to do something, pull it back, change some things, because there's certain things that they just cannot get done. Because hits on Joe Burrow for the first 5 games, NFL breaks them down. It might be a little bit off, but either way, these aren't very good. All right. He got hit 6 times in week 1, 7 times in week 2, 18 times in week 3, 5 times in week 4. Now, the big one, the Ratbirds, 15 times. He got hit 15 times. That's a total of 51 hits. That's just hitting him. That's not counting sacks. So, I mean, that's the thing where I'm thinking you got to change. Yep, got to get some protection. Yes, sir, or ma'am, whoever you're, a Facebook user. Yes, we definitely got to get some protection, and that's where I'm saying your offensive line is what your offensive line is. So, I think that moving forward, I'm hoping they're starting to do that this week. They've got to pare down the offense to, okay, our offensive line is good at doing this. I don't know what it is, but that's not my job to figure that out. They need to figure out what the offensive line is good at doing and try to at least perfect that. So hopefully it's good enough to keep Joe Burrow healthy. And, he can't keep taking 15 hits a game, You got a Facebook message here. Jake, go Fighting Fickles. Yeah, well, they're not playing, unfortunately. That is I said that at the beginning of the show that unfortunately the University of Cincinnati Bearcats are not playing due to the COVID-19 positive test. I don't know. I don't know if they're sick or they're just asymptomatic or what's going on. Either way, they're not playing Saturday. They are moving the game to December 5th. So this is keep moving games back. Who knows when the season is going to end? But it's going to be interesting hopefully they won't have any more positive tests so we can play the next week. Anyway, now, this is another interesting thing to not dumbing down, but making the offense easier or something, to do something to try to give Joe Burrow more time in the pocket, which might mean less guys going out, have to bring more guys in the block. But Pro Football Focus, that's a tongue twister there, did a study on how Joe did when he's pressured and when he's not pressured. When he's not pressured, he's 105 for 144. That's a 73% completion percentage. 4 TDs, 1 INT. Passer rating of 97.9%. Now, when he's pressured, obviously it's going to be worse. He's 30 of 63, 2 TDs, 2 INTs, the passer rating of 59.8. So, like I said, and we said it before, you got to keep him healthy. All right, Crown Apple Kid. I think you are new to the show. Welcome. When was the last time the Bengals had a good offensive line? The last time the Bengals had a good offensive line was probably 2016, and that was the end of their 5-year run of going to the playoffs 5 years in a row. So, and see, that's the narrative that kills me. Most Bengals fans and just in general, the Bengals have never had a good offensive line. That's not true. They had a lot of good offensive lines. Carson Palmer, I know he got hurt by a knee injury, but it's a fluke thing in the playoffs, but he had a good offensive line when he first got here. Andy Dalton had a good offensive line when he first got here. The problem is those guys started getting old and the Bengals missed badly on their draft picks. That's the reason the offensive line is the way it is. And they didn't sign people. Now, people will say, well, we should have signed Whitworth. I would have loved to sign Whitworth. Most teams would have not given Whitworth as much money as the Rams did because he's an older guy. I did not think he had this many more years left in him. I was not happy that he left. And the other thing is we let Zeitler go. That was another one. You can't let these guys go and not have somebody behind them. And the only one they had behind them then was Oboihi, who was a swinging gate. I don't know if you guys remember him. We got him in the first round, I think, what is it? I think 2016, I think, or 15, somewhere around there. And he was injured in college, and he probably would have been a top 10 or probably the first offensive lineman drafted, but he got hurt. And when the Bengals actually started playing him, he wasn't any good, and they relied on him to replace Whitworth, and that was a terrible idea. So that's been the downfall of the Bengals offensive line. They've missed on their draft. They missed with Oboihi. They missed with Billy Price. Like I said, just imagine if they had gotten Billy Price right, that Billy Price is your center and you're good there. Then Hopkins, who's playing center now, can play left or right guard. That right there would really fix the offensive line big time. But you missed on Billy Price, and it takes you years to fix that. And they're still working on it because then you would have drafted Jonah Williams. You would hit on that. So 2 out of your 3 first-round picks would have been offensive linemen, and they would have worked. But Billy Price didn't work, as we all know. Right here. Let's see. You got some questions rolling here. Blake Pye. I like your Dalton jersey. I think the Bengals got a chance against the Colts. I do too. The one thing like I said before, they gotta watch the Colts because the Colts are a very good defense. They're not the same scheme and blitzing as the Ravens, but as I said before in the show, once the NFL teams find something that you can't stop, they will keep doing it. So that's going to be that's the one thing I'm going to be interested to see if they blitz them or not. All right, let's see here. What's this one? He didn't give us a chance to sign him either. Oh, you talking about Whitworth, I think. From what I've heard, I think he came back to the Bengals, but the money was so big that Mike Brown wasn't going to pay him that much money. And you can call him cheap, you can call him whatever, but it also comes down to a business decision where sometimes, and we've talked about this on the show, where Mike Brown holds on to guys too long. And Whitworth, like I said, I can't get mad at him for that. I'm more irritated that they didn't have anybody to replace him because they knew his free agency was coming up and there's a good chance that they might lose him and they didn't have anybody to replace him with. That's where they messed up. Not necessarily not signing him, but not having a plan or a good backup or a good person to take over after Whitworth left. All right. Got my boy, Jeremy Dane. He will be on the show along with Mike tomorrow. We'll be doing Strawberry Ice and Bengals Nation, our preview show. All right. The Colts started quick, but have started to show their true colors. I think we can blitz Rivers, Old Man Rivers, as I call him, easily. Stop the run game, and we got the offense going. Get the offense going this week. Yeah. And the thing is, I don't know if I made this point or not. I think Old Man Rivers, he's done. I mean, I said this in the offseason. I think the Colts messed up and they should have signed Andy Dalton. That's who I think would have been a perfect fit for them. But they signed Phillip Rivers, who hasn't been good in 3 or 4 years. The man threw a safety against, I think, the Browns or somebody this year. So if the Bengals can get pressure on him, which they've been doing more now, I know Hubbard's not going to be there. That's where I think Carlos Dunlap, you need to step up. Lawson, you guys need to step up. But that's where I think maybe the Bengals should blitz more. Send some linebackers up on him. You got to do something to get him uncomfortable because he doesn't want to move. Old Man Rivers cannot move anymore. He never could move that good before. Now he really can't move. So that's where I think that's where I think we got a shot at it because he's not as good as he was, and you put pressure on him, he's going to throw you the ball, and they're going to, I think we got a shot. I really do. All right, what we got here? Apple Crown. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, no problem. I like questions on here. That's the point of the show, was to have questions and answers. Jeremy Dane. Yep. Thanks for watching. Exactly. Oh, okay. Now this person, I know you're from Cincinnati. I wish I knew your name. Skyline or Gold Star? Skyline. All day, every day. Skyline. West Side boy, West Side Cincinnati. Skyline. All right. Speaking of my boy Jeremy Dane, I'm going to bring him in here. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, man? What's up?
What you doing?
Just got off work and figured I would jump on here for a quick second.
All right. What you got, man?
I was wondering, have you seen the big story here recently saying that Justin Herbert is now the favorite for rookie of the year on offense?
That blows my mind. Joe Burrow, I'm glad you brought that up. Joe Burrow, like I said, I'm gonna show my man crush right now. Show my man crush. Don't care. Had 300-yard games in a row. Justin Herbert plays in LA. That's the only reason people are saying, oh, he might be the rookie of the year. That's bull bleep.
Exactly. Well, and the funny thing about it is he comes in and plays a little trash time. And then he comes back next week and plays a full game, which they lose.
Right.
But he also has one of the better league offensive lines in the league.
Right.
If you put him at that game on Sunday against Baltimore, and put him behind our line, I have a feeling that everybody around the league and all Bengal fans would be going, "Where is Burrow? Please bring him back." I mean, it got to me, and I wanted to just throw that out there with you while I'm on here real quick. I don't want to take away from anything, but that just it killed me. It killed me to see that when this guy's 300 yards, 3 games in a row, first time ever by a rookie. He's got the worst offensive line in every stat. We've been down that road.
Yeah.
And yet he's still pulling out these crazy, perfect passes. I haven't looked at Herbert's tape, but I can promise you this: if we switched offensive lines, Herbert would already be called a bust by now.
Right. Exactly. And speaking of offensive lines here, this is a good one. The best O-line we had, in my estimation, was 1988. Yeah, I agree with you. You had Max Montoya on there. You had the Hall of Famer Anthony Munoz. Yes. That was the best offensive line we had. So
exactly.
Apple Kid here. We got another question. How will Andy Dalton do for the Cowboys? I honestly think he's going to do pretty good, to be honest. I hope he does terrible when he plays against us. But, Anyway, so I got a question for you. I think we were talking about this earlier today. Hubbard, he's out, dislocated his elbow. Now, you actually found information on this, because I had people on my show and our show saying that the IR is only for 3 weeks this year.
Yep.
And so you actually had an article or something you posted on Bengals Nation, you said, or something like that?
Yeah. So due to the restrictions and no PTAs, nothing. Did I say PTA? Parent teacher?
OTAs. I know what you mean. You're good. I know what you mean.
You guys know where I'm at here. I don't have no notes. I don't have my little pen. I don't have nothing. OTAs. Right. Everything very limited. So this year the NFL is allowing, instead of having to put a man on IR for the year, once you put him on there, he's gone. They are able to come back after 3 weeks. And that's the situation we're in with Xavier right now, too, our other lineman from the Cowboys that could probably help us out quite a bit.
Yeah, that too. We talked about this on the show before. That's a bigger loss than I think it is. So you're gonna hang out for a little while, or you gotta get going?
I'll hang around for a few more minutes here, man. If you'll have me.
Yeah. Come on with it.
Go ahead, man.
There's a question from Keith. Mike Brown just refuses to pay big money for O linemen, with the exception of Munoz and Whitworth. Look at the guys he let go. Montoya, which actually Montoya was Paul Brown, so I can't blame Mike Brown for that one. Steinbach and Ziegler, yeah. Now I agree. Steinbach and Ziegler, we actually had people. The thing is, we had people to replace those two. That's where the difference is, and they have paid money to keep people. They paid to keep Levi Jones. They paid to keep Willie Anderson. The Max Montoya, that was the beginning of. He was a plan. I don't even know if you remember this. He was called a Plan B free agent. And I don't even remember how it worked, but he was like one of my favorite Bengals. So I always remember Max. And I was irritated that they let him go. And he signed with then it was the Los Angeles Raiders. And that was the beginning of our offensive line declining. And the same thing happened when we let Whitworth go. And the problem with that, in my opinion, is because we had nobody behind them,
That's true. I mean, after that, we literally were horrible for years. And that's what scares me about this. We've got Jonah Williams, but as we've said in the past, this line's been around 3 or 4 years now. Nothing's happening, nothing good. Right. They get better towards the end of the year. They get another shot.
Well, Cincinnati's got to. Sorry, go ahead. Keep on.
No, I'm just saying they've got to get out of that mindset of keeping linemen that play decent against bad teams. And even if it's the end of the year, when some teams aren't even playing their starters, we've got to get out of that, take care of the problem.
Right. So what is your thought on I think I brought it up. That was my big question yesterday, was Jim Turner. You brought this up, I know, on the show before, that he came out and told Zach Taylor that we're good at offensive line. I have no idea why he said that. But the thing is, for me, if you are going to say we're good, we don't need to go draft anybody. We only need to sign like one guy. Bobby Hart's fine. Michael Jordan's good at guard. We got Jonah Williams, we got Hopkins. We got Billy Price. If he thought Billy Price would somehow get better, I don't know what he thought. But to me, because everybody wants to complain and fire Zach Taylor and fire this and fire that, to me, the Bengals showed that they listen to their coaches, because Lou Amorito switched from a 4-3 to a 3-4, got all these linebackers, got all these guys, I know we're not always there, but either way, the defense is better. Okay. Yep. The defense is 10 times better than it has been the last 2 years. So they listen to their coaches. So they really care about what they're saying, and they take its importance, So Jim Turner says they're okay. To me, that dude's got to go. You can't make that statement, and this is the performance, your offensive line, and this is what you are here for, to coach them up, to get them better.
Yeah, and here's my thing with firing Zach Taylor, okay? For one, Mike Brown's not going to do that during the year. I think I've said that in the past. But let's say he did. This is the Bengals. Every fan watching this and that's going to watch it knows one thing. If we would let him go at the end of this year, Jim Turner could end up as our head coach. There's nobody right now. I mean, I like Eric Bieniemy myself. I loved him as a player. I think he's going to be a great coach somewhere.
Yeah.
If it's Cincinnati one day, next year, let's see how this year goes. But all those guys right now are under contract. So if we did let go of Zach Taylor after 1 year and 5 games, 5 games.
1 year, 5 games.
Yeah, we would end up with either Lou or Jim Turner as our coach. So is that what everybody wants for this year?
Right. Or that, or if they actually go outside the organization, then you're at square one again,
Exactly.
The thing people have to remember too, Zach Taylor last year got in here very, very late because the Rams played in the Super Bowl. He didn't really start working for the Bengals till, I don't know, 3 weeks, I think, before oh man, I hate when I can't think of stuff. Whether the thing they do at Indianapolis where they test all the guys and before the draft.
Oh, the combine?
The combine. Thank you. Yeah. He just started right before the combine, and he had to fill his coaching staff very quickly. So some of these guys might not be the guys he exactly wanted, but he had to get some because they didn't have the time. So that could be another reason why you might see some changes. I think there's a good chance we're going to see changes in the coaching staff more than the head coach. So that's where I've said that in this offseason, that this team is going to be more of what Zach Taylor wants it to look like, except for the offensive line,
And that's what I'm getting at. I mean, guys, let's go ahead and leave Zach alone for the year, because if you go to the past, the Bengals fire a coach, they brought in defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau. They fire a coach, they bring in offensive coordinator Jay Gruden. They fire a coach, they end up bringing in Bruce Coslett, who was doing whatever at the time. But that's what we're going to get this year if we fired Zach Taylor. So do we want to ride the Taylor train one more for the rest of this year at least and see what maybe can happen? Or do we want to just bring somebody else up from defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, whatever, and go through the same thing we've been through for the past 20 years?
Right. Now, Keith got some more on top of his comment before about not paying offensive linemen, not to mention Kozerski, Reimers, and Walters. Okay, another thing is those guys were at the end of their careers. I mean, I don't think they went on and played. If they played anywhere else, I don't think it was for very long. I'm not so sure on that. I know Joe Walters, he's still here because you see him on the Goodwill commercials and stuff. I know you don't see that down there in Alabama there, Jeremy. No. But yeah, it's just, I mean, the narrative that we've always, the one I'm trying to get here, and this is a Cincinnati sports podcast, but it's on the internet, so anybody around the world could probably watch it. But the thing is, the narrative that Cincinnati has always had a bad offensive line, and we never pay players. That was right in the 90s. I mean, that pretty much stopped when Marvin Lewis got here. And I think it stopped even more when Zach Taylor got here. Not the first year, but the second year, this past off season. We've never spent that much money on offensive or any players, especially not our ones that aren't ours. Mike Brown was always more loyal to his own guys. And I guess we've had this before, to his own deficit, I think. That's why we've kept guys with not great characters. They're good players, not great characters, but he'll keep them. He tries to rehabilitate them or whatever, instead of cutting them and try to get somebody else in here who's just as productive, but it's not, it has a good character person. And that's a lot of the guys that I think Zach Taylor has brought in this year. So I guess I'm going off on a tangent here. But the thing is, the offensive line hasn't always been bad. I mean, for the most time that Marvin Lewis's tenure, the offensive line was pretty good. I mean, I don't really remember. I know, like I said, I know Carson got hurt, but that was kind of a fluke thing, But I don't really remember Carson running for his life or Andy running for his life till the last couple of years, of our offensive line. So the narrative that we've always had a bad offensive line and we've never spent any money, we've never done this, it's not really true. I mean, if you really look at the record, what's happened.
Yeah, and that's the way it was. I mean, Marvin was supposed to be a defense guy, and don't get me wrong, he drafted a ton of defensive players. He hit quite a bit between him and Tobin was even around with him. Hit quite a bit on defense. Burfict, he was a college free agent. He gave us a few great years, really, until he went cuckoo.
Yeah,
but
knucklehead.
Yeah, but we were nailing it on that. But I do want to go back. I was having a conversation, and I don't know if I can't remember his name. We were talking on Bengals Nation. If you're watching, man, feel free. I know I told him we do Mondays and Fridays, but anyway, everybody gets this notification.
So every once in a while, you might jump on and surprise people.
Yeah. So if you're listening, man, we were talking about AJ, and he thinks that AJ still is a completely great receiver, one of the best in the league still.
Right now he does?
Yes. And we argued about it, but that's what fans do. That's what we're supposed to do.
That's the whole point of this show.
Yeah. If we all got along and agreed, there would be no reason to even be doing this right now.
Right. Exactly.
But I just wanted to tell that guy, and man, I'm sorry I can't remember your name. I know that I sent you over to the show here and to YouTube, but anyway, don't get me wrong with what I was saying. I hope AJ puts this embarrassing play, little tantrum on the sideline, head down, not really giving it his. I hope he comes out this week and just blows the roof off the place. I hope he does it the rest of the year. I hope he beats every Chad Johnson record this year.
Right. Yeah.
I'm rooting for the guy.
Yeah.
But saying that, I have lost a lot of respect for AJ watching that play, watching how he acted on the sidelines. It wouldn't be such a big deal if we didn't have two rookie linebackers starting.
Right.
If two of our biggest free agents weren't out for the year on defense, and our offensive line, as bad as they are, they're just not giving Burrow enough time.
We don't need this from AJ. We need AJ to step up. Is kind of what you're saying, and that's kind of what I said to start the show. With all the injuries that we have on this team right now, Gino's still here, Carlos is still here, and AJ's still here, and they've been here longer than anybody, longer than the coach, longer than the quarterbacks, longer than anybody. Right now, for this team to move forward, those three, and they're very well paid too. So, I mean, AJ Green's getting $18 million. I'll take $18 million. That's not bad at all. You need to step up. All three of them need to step up and come through for this team more now, I think, than ever, because of the injuries, because of what happened last week, because of what AJ said or didn't say on the sideline, but definitely because of his actions on the field of not going after the guy. So, this is where they've got to step up, and that's a big thing. I think that needs to happen. Keith, I love AJ, but he's no longer getting separation. Yeah, I agree with you. That's where I've always said I think maybe he's hurt. And Keith had another comment here talking about the offense line. Kuzerski, Reimers, Walters' comment wasn't about we let guys go, about the rest of the 88 offensive line. Yes, that was a great offensive line. You are right. But yeah, I'll get back to what he said about AJ. That's one of the biggest, not the biggest problem he's having, is getting separation. Because remember, we talked about the deep ball, the very first deep ball against the Eagles 2 weeks ago. Joe threw it out there, and normally AJ he had the guy beat. I mean, it wasn't by much, but he was in front of him, and he didn't have that burst, that speed to get out there and go get that and finish the playoff. And he just ran off to the sideline. I'm like, that's not where the ball is going. The ball is going straight down the field. So that's where there's something wrong. He's hurt. He's pissed off. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, and I'm not going to put it all on AJ. I mean, they should have some sort of a scramble drill. I don't know if that was us talking about that before, but
actually, I think it was you and me talking last night. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. You watch Russell Wilson, man. He's got a good offensive line, but he'll stand back there 4 or 5 seconds. If he don't see nothing, when he starts to scramble, his receivers know, okay, if he's running to his left, running to his right, these are the things that we got to do to get open, to come back towards the quarterback and give him somewhere to throw the ball. Right now, with 2.4 seconds, and Burrow getting out of that pocket or looking downfield, they're not. It's like we don't have a scramble drill. It's like our receivers or our wide receiver coach even, and that even goes to Zach Taylor some. But it's like there's no consistency there. When you see him out of that pocket, you have got to make yourself open. Come back to that quarterback. If it's a 5-yard pass, it don't matter. It's better than being sacked on a coverage sack and getting nothing. And on the AJ front, just real quick, too, I've noticed a couple people saying, well, I think he's just upset because he didn't get a deal. Okay, I understand that. But for $18 million, I would go play, get my head blew off because, I can run a 40 in about 10 seconds, and clean the other team's shoes for $18 million a year, okay? I would show up every day and clean the throw up out of the bathrooms for people that drank too much, okay? $18 million is the highest paid wide receiver just about in the NFL at this point. I mean, that's good money. It's good money. The tag is. Yeah. So get out and play, AJ, man. Just get out and play. Get open. Come back to your quarterback. Find a hole. He could always find holes. For some reason, he's not finding those holes this year. He's been double teamed all of his career.
Yeah, that's nothing new. But now Jake Pie here goes, don't forget he almost had the game-winning catch. Actually, no, he had the game-winning catch. Not almost. He caught it in week 1. And it wasn't for the pass interference. That could have changed his whole attitude. That's a very good point, Blake. That could have changed. Honestly, that play could have changed the whole season, because you would have had a rookie quarterback in his very first game leading his team all the way down the field on a game-winning drive and a game-winning catch for AJ Green, who hadn't played in a year and a half. That call is huge to me. And I agree it was pass interference, but I don't think you make that call then, because there's been so many times game-winning things. I mean, the DB flopped. AJ didn't push him that hard. So to me, yes, that honestly could have changed the whole season. Really do. I mean, in the first game, there's 2 things that happened. One, that play could have changed the whole season, and losing Seraphilia. To me, that's changed the offensive line, because we have that revolving door at right guard. Because if he's holding the guard, he's holding his side, and everybody else can kind of start getting better. Because Bobby Hart, I don't think he's a great right tackle, but if he's got a terrible right guard, which he's had the whole season, that makes him look even worse, and makes it harder on him to do his job. So if he had Seraphilia on there and he's doing his job, Bobby Hart could do his job a little better too. So, because Joe Burrow doesn't need a great offensive line. He just needs a good one.
Yep. and the wide receivers got to get a little separation. That's why at the point now, I just cannot see what's helping us leaving Ross on the bench. I know he's inconsistent. I know he doesn't run great routes. I know he can get a little wild. But for those quick little hitches, I mean, this kid didn't run the fastest 40 in the combine history because he's a chump. I mean, you know, he can run down that field, outrun everybody, and stop on a dime, come back to that quarterback, boom, right there every time. That's almost a give me. I just don't understand why we're not using some of these things when we're needing to get rid of the ball fast. Them little wide receivers, as Brady has taught everybody for 20 years, you can throw to little guys, not the fastest guys, doesn't matter. He'll throw 5-7 yarders all the way down the field. That's what we might need to get into. Right now, the long ball's not there because we don't have the time to throw it.
Right. Now, I want to go back to something where you're saying the scramble drill. And that's one thing that I can't remember where I read it, but they said a Thursday night game that the Bengals played the Ravens, and Andy Dalton was the quarterback, and Andy and AJ killed the Ravens on the hot read, you know, cutting his route off and just dinking and dunking all the way down the field to the point where the Ravens had to stop blitzing. Exactly. So why didn't AJ, if he's done it before with Andy, why didn't he try to do that? Or, you know, I don't understand why is that maybe it's Zach, maybe he told him, I don't know. It's just like, if you know that, if somebody reported on that, I'm sure Zach Taylor could have found it out, or somebody told him, or maybe AJ said, hey, this is what we did last time and it worked out really well. Or, you know, communication or something. Something's not there. I don't know.
Yeah, because as we just said, you know, he's been doubled his whole career. That's nothing new. But now we have Tyler Boyd. We've got, you know, Higgins, who's really coming into his own early, a lot earlier than I thought. Yep. We have an Auden Tate that can go up and get the back shoulder passes. And so I do see AJ getting doubled quite a bit, but there's also many times when AJ could make a play and it's just not there. And Burrow is literally throwing. That's what's brought Burrow's completion percentage down. That's why Herbert is now ahead of him for rookie offensive player of the year, which is a damn joke.
Whatever.
But yeah, but he's throwing to AJ just as much as anybody else. And the guy literally just cannot get. I think if he can get one long bomb touchdown or get him any sort of touchdown, I think it'll kind of get the frustration, the monkey off his back.
He needs something.
Let's play some football.
He needs something to get himself in rhythm. You know, get himself going. Yeah, Keith. They need to set him up. He means AJ, by throwing him that friggin' slant that was open all day against the Chargers. Yeah. And they ran it 3 times with 2 completions and never went back to it. Yeah, I agree with you. Those are things that's where, like, that's the hot read. That's what I'm talking about. It's not a hot read, but it's a slant. I don't, you know. Crown Apple Kid. The Bengals don't know how to finish games. We were just talking about how they should have won the first game of the year. So yes and no. I think it's there.
It's tough to call. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Keith, use that to set up the DB for a double move to get separate. Yes. Again, I agree with you exactly what you're saying there, Keith.
But as we've said, the double move takes time.
Yes. That's the problem with it. That's the reason I think they've had a hard time with the deep ball.
Right.
Okay. Keith, again, I agree about Ross. If nothing else, he can be used as a decoy to run DBs deep and stuff underneath.
How about punt returns? How about why we got Alex Erickson back there returning punt
on the 5-yard line?
You kidding me? We got Brandon Wilson, number 1 kickoff returner in the league. We've got John Ross. If John Ross isn't going to do anything else, put him back there and see what he's got. My God, fastest guy in the combine, uses speed on something.
Exactly. All right, Bob K, where you been at, buddy? I haven't heard from you all week. All right, let's be honest. If Lamar were fully healthy, we would put 50-plus points on the board. The Bengals defense is nothing special. Sorry, guys. Well, You didn't. So it doesn't matter what you could have done. You should have done. You didn't. We will find out at the end of the year,
Yeah, and half of our free agency class that we brought in is sitting on the bench, IR. I mean, it is what now we've got what's his name out? My God, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I'm an Ohio State guy. Hubbard, he's out. Reader's out. Waynes has been out all year. Willie J's played great. Phillips has played great. Bates has played great. But I don't see Lamar. He's not that great of a passer. I think everybody could see that Sunday. And if you've watched any of his other games, he does a lot of stuff moving around with his legs, gives him 7 seconds back there, and a wide receiver is going to become open in 7 seconds. The defense don't know what they're doing. The offense is doing. So they cannot stay on a player for 7 seconds. Somebody's going to get open. That's where a lot of Lamar's passing yards come from, in my opinion.
Exactly. All right. Hold on a second. I got a couple more. Lots of comments here. Hang on a second here. Bob K. DJ Reader and Jesse Bates are the only defensive stars you guys have. Unfortunately, what happened to DJ with the injury? Yeah. I don't think so. What about Logan Wilson, the guy who intercepted Lamar Jackson, and Davis Gate? I was going to say Gaither.
Yeah,
the other
Davis Gaither. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who should have intercepted Lamar. We got more coming than you think, than you're giving us credit for. But yeah, we'll see.
And we're forgetting Trey Waynes again here. I mean, this is our $60 million shutdown.
We haven't seen him all year.
Yeah, number 4, 5.
Well, I did hear Mackenzie Alexander might be playing this week. Yeah, he might be.
He was hurt, too. So
he might be getting a shot this week. We'll see. All right, Joe. We need balance. Some dink and dunks, run the ball, occasionally go deep if there's an opportunity for it. We have the talent. We need to get open. Yeah, and that's where I said it. Dave Lapham said it on the Bengals Booth podcast. They weren't getting any separations. There was no separation in from the wide receivers to the DBs. And I think you talked about this, Jeremy. That one of the passes that Joe Burrow made, he threaded the needle right in between 3 Ravens. I think it might have been either to Boyd or Tate. I can't remember who it was, but it was right on the money. I was just like, I looked at my dad. I'm like, that's ridiculous to be able to hit that on the run. 3 Ravens right there, and he still hit it.
And he's talking about dink and dunking. And like I said just a few minutes ago,
right?
Look at the people and the guys that Tom Brady has made famous. Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, all these guys nobody ever heard of.
Right.
But he had plenty of time, and they're throwing little quick passes all the way down the field for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what we got to do, we need to do it.
Yeah. The only time he had a really good wide receiver, he had Randy Moss. That guy was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we got a new guy here.
What up?
Kid LT. You got a little flavor in your back of your head there. You got a Z in it. All right. This team looks good. We just need adjustments for the offensive line. And Brandon Wilson is the number 6 in the league. But Zach Taylor needs more tempo of his offense because of the O-line, we need try other defense. I'm not sure what the last part was, but anyway, we need what I was saying at the beginning of the show is, I think it's got to the point where we know what this offense line will let the Bengals do. And that's where the deep ball might not be there this year. It just might not be. That's where who was Keith or I can't remember who said dink and dunk. That might be something that they have to do, which you can get the ball out fast. Joe Burrow, excuse me. The one thing he said, and Lapham and other people said, he's got to get rid of the ball fast because he doesn't have time, So they're going to have to, like I said, dink and dunk. And the problem with that, though, is if you do that, they know that's what you're doing. You got to be able to run the ball, and if we don't have a running game, which that was a huge problem last week against the Ratbirds, we couldn't run the ball. And when we actually get Joe Mixon going, in my opinion, Joe Mixon is the key part to our offense. As Joe goes, the Bengals go. You get him going, that opens everything else up.
Yep. And like you said, it can get a little dangerous with Andy Dalton. If you remember, quite a few dink and dunks were intercepted by J.J. Watt comes to mind, running it in for a touchdown in the playoffs.
Why do you always bring up bad stuff, Jeremy?
Well, I'm just saying, you got to be careful. A lot of those slant passes, Dalton didn't have quite the arm to get it there quick enough. Burrow does, and they were intercepted, ran back for a touchdown. I used to call Palmer pick six Palmer because he had a knack for that as well. But I do want to clarify, I was not wrong on Brandon Wilson. He was the number one returner until these last couple of games where they've just kicked it out of the end zone. And
they had a chance to return it. So Keith is talking smack to Bob K here. So we're getting smack talk between the listeners now. Bob K, what about the Chiefs? Well, did the Jackson? Yeah, Lamar Jackson didn't do anything against the Chiefs. He's kind of got a point there, Bob. Okay. Isaiah, what else we got here? Lamar is in his third DC. Wait, Lamar is in year 3. DC have figured out. Oh yeah, how defense coordinator. I'll get it right here. Defense coordinators have figured out how to play him. Yeah, and to me, honestly, the blueprint for that was the Tennessee Titans last year in a playoff game. They shut him down. They shut Lamar Jackson down, and he hasn't been the same that I've seen this year. So
I haven't seen any growth in Lamar from last year to this year, much at all.
Right. Exactly. Let's see here.
Don't forget Carl Lawson.
I think
I'm not sure. He started last week. I mean, I don't know how much better he done than what Dunlap would have done, but
I mean, that's more to me. That's more of a future thing. He's going to be right now. He's our future DN more than Carlos is.
Yeah, he needs. I think we need to use him more on pass brushing situations, blitzing, that kind of thing than what we do.
The reason you can't put Carlos in it, Carlos isn't doing good on the run stop. That's one of the biggest reasons they moved him.
Yeah,
all right,
he's
Bob
small
K.
and fast.
Right. All right, Bob K. Mike Daniels is pretty good signing. Unfortunately, the guy doesn't know how to stay healthy. Yeah, well, so far he hasn't, unfortunately. And that's the thing that killed me. I wanted to see that rotation of Daniels and DJ Reader and Gino, and we're not going to see that this year.
Nope. He can take a number. Everybody's been hurt. Everybody's getting hurt.
All right. Kid LT. All right. Obviously, you're new to the show because this has been a question lots of times. Do you blame the team or the coaching staff? I guess you're saying for what's going on. I blame right now, honestly, the offensive line coach because to me, every part of the team except that has gotten better. The defense has gotten better. Now, I know we're complaining about the wide receivers in last week, but the weeks before, our offense looked pretty good. We had 505 yards. We had Joe Burrow with 3 consecutive 300-yard passing games. That all improved except our offensive line. And I keep banging that drum. I can't stop. All right, Bob K's back. Plus, a lot of teams struggle with the Chiefs. Not many teams can beat them, especially the Bengals. Hey, I did not say the Bengals could beat the Chiefs. I didn't say that. I just said you guys lost. I was agreeing with you that you guys lost to them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Kid J. Bengals defense did good against the Ravens without the turnovers. They only scored 14 points. That tells you a lot. We need to be made to be stable and stop falling off. Yeah. Well, it was 17 points for the longest time. The defense basically only gave up 20 points. That's all they gave up against the Ravens.
Yeah, and if you add in the turnovers, it might have been less.
Yeah.
I mean, we turned the ball over 3 times. That makes it too easy. Yeah. Our defense, I mean, they're not good enough to.
What was it? We turned it over 3 times, and they only scored once, and that was when, they ran it back for a touchdown after they Thomas fumbled it. Our defense held them. All right, Keith, exactly, Jeff. It reminds me of Houston years ago with run and shoot. Worked for a couple years, then defense coordinator. Yeah, well, it's the same thing with these guys. these these quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, like RG3, when these guys came in, they're like, oh, this is the new way the quarterback's going to be, and a Cam Newton. I mean, these guys, after a while, defenses figure you out, and that's what I do think that is happening to Lamar Jackson. Now, who knows? He could come back out and do great next week. I don't know, or this coming week. All right, Keith's back. Bob K. The only reason Joe got exposed is because our O-line sucks. Yeah, that's true. All right. Oh, it's catching on, Jeremy. It's catching on. Watch. Hold on. Let me bring this one up. Ratbirds. Your Ratbirds did a hell of a job exposing Mahomes. Yeah. A lot of questions here. All right. Let's see here. Facebook user. Quick slants across the middle. Quick curls and in and out routes. What about double back sets and double tight ends? Double tight ends, I've said. Blocking or strong I formation, something to make the offense unpredictable. Yeah, the double tight end, I don't know if I exactly used those words, but I've said we need to keep more guys in to block. And that, unfortunately, that makes less guys go out to receive the ball. But if Joe Burrow's got time or Mixon's got holes to run through, that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's true. It's you add more blockers, you got less people, running out on the field. But I like it myself personally because we don't have much help at all for Burrow on the line. Like everybody knows, we've talked about it 100 times. My problem is, man, if we don't block him, if we don't use an extra tight end, 2 tight ends even, as this guy said, right, it's only going to take one hit. And I know I've said that many times, but man, look at Dak Prescott. Look at what happened to Andrew Luck. Just a ton. Alex Smith. It's a cringeworthy thing to even say, but one hit, man. One hit.
Now, Bob tried to call me out here. Obviously, Bob didn't watch the beginning of the show. But hey, Jeff, stop ignoring and answer this. Joe has been exposed. The Ravens showed the blueprint to stopping Burrow. All you have to do is pressure him. Well, I don't know if that's a big, mind-blowing thing. That's with pretty much any NFL quarterback. But I said that at the beginning of the show when I was doing my monologue or whatever you want to call it, that the Colts are playing next week or Sunday, we're playing them. They're not known as a blitzing team, but NFL teams smell blood in the water. So there's a very good chance that Joe's going to see that, and the Bengals are going to see that until they stop it. So, yes, I don't think that's exposing Joe Burrow. I mean, they were running right up the middle, and nobody was blocking them. You could have had Joe freaking Montana back there, and he would have got hit, and he would have not done anything. So I'm not sure that's exposing Joe Burrow. It's exposing our offensive line to how bad they actually are. So,
yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. You can say they figured out Joe Burrow's formula or whatever. He hasn't even had a chance to establish a formula. Those teams aren't exactly looking at Burrow. Yeah, they're looking at the line and they're saying, okay, this is the weak spot. This is the weak spot. And then over here is the next to weakest spot. So this is where we're going to blitz. Right. I don't know if that can go against Burrow or not.
Right. All right, Kid LJ. Love the show, man. Great stuff. One more question. Who has the best improvement this year? The defense? I think Jesse Bates. Dude, Jesse Bates is going to be he's a legit safety. Improvement-wise, yes, I will go with Jesse Bates. I think he's got a shot at being an all-pro this year. I really do.
Yeah. Pro Bowler, completely. He's an assassin, man. He's savage.
Yeah, and that's one thing. I'll bring it back to what Jesse Bates said, that why he thinks he's improved so much is it's his second year in this system. And that'll go back to my point I've said before, that I don't think we need to fire Zach Taylor yet, because these guys are getting into the system. It's Joe Burrow's first year in the system. You don't want to fire Zach and get another whole new system and start all over again. Once these guys get used to the system, it helps them improve, Jesse Bates is proving that. All right, I like Fred Johnson at right tackle and try Bobby Hart at guard, but this team needs to sign a couple O-line people. Bobby Hart's not moving. Bobby Hart's not moving. I mean, I'll put it to you this way, and it's Jacksonville, but because that was the best one we had, and other times when the first game of the year, Bobby Hart didn't play that bad because Serafili was next to him. I'm not saying Bobby Hart. I think he should go, and I want to get another right tackle. But if we can ever fix that right guard this year, at least till it's manageable, at least till they're doing the right blocking scheme, and Bobby Hart doesn't have to worry about this guy missing something, or that will help. But I don't think switching them out on him. You could. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's we can swap everybody around on that line, and we pulled people, brought new ones in, done that. Until we get Xavier back, we're not really going to see what we have much for this year anyway.
Right. All right, Keith. Bob H. He's been pressured all season. Your sucky blank Ratbirds did nothing special. They just got him a bit more and a bit quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, they blitzed and blitzed and blitzed, and our offense line could not stop them, could not figure out where the blitz was coming from. Like I said, there was a series, first down, second down, third down, where the Ratbirds had a free blitzer running right up the middle every snap. That was at the beginning of the game. Nobody can win when you let that happen. It's not going to happen. Jeez, I've been on for an hour already, and I still got questions. You want to hang on, or you want to jump off here, Jeremy?
Oh, I mean, you're good, dude. If you want to jump into other stuff, I just wanted to jump in about the Bengal thing.
No, we're getting a lot of it's all Bengals. It's always Bengals. I can bring up the Reds. I can bring up the Bearcats. I can bring up the Ohio State. It always goes to Bengals, which is fine. I like talking about the Bengals. I'm cool with it. It's cool. Yep. All right. See, the funny thing, I've never had two viewers actually start arguing with each other in the comments.
I love it.
Fine. As long as you guys all get along, we're having a good time. That's fine with me. I'll keep showing them up here. All right. Bob K. Ravens and Steelers will dominate you. Always have, dude. Even Cleveland is better than y'all. Enjoy the basement for the next 6 years, Cincinnati. I don't know about that, buddy. I mean, the Browns, I'm still not sold on Baker Mayfield. I'm still not sold. I mean, and to me, that team is so mentally fragile. They're one bad game away from blowing up, if you want my opinion. And the Squealers, Big Ben's not going to be there the whole time. He's on at the end of his career. So the Ravens, I think it's going to be future-wise. I think it's going to be the Ravens and the Bengals. So I don't think we're going to be in the basement. I think we're be right up there with you, and hopefully beating you. That'd be fun.
It wasn't that long ago we were beating the Ravens.
Yeah,
and a few more pieces on the line, a couple more on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even see three. Yeah, maybe adding Jamar Chase in the draft, depending on where we draft, getting a few linemen, whatever, picking some free agents up.
Yeah,
I can see us having a complete turnaround by next year, let alone 6 years.
Why don't you say what we were talking on after the show yesterday? What you were saying about the offensive line and possibly trading down the Bengals and getting more picks. Remember the conversation we had yesterday? You were talking about that. I thought that's something that I think the Bengals need to consider for sure.
Yeah, with our last drafts where we've taken offensive linemen with our first pick, I just think at that point, let's say if we are drafting at number 6 and Jamar Chase is gone or what, maybe one of these big home run hitters, because as you've mentioned in the past, you can get great linemen in the second and third, even fourth round. Mm-hmm. So if he's gone and we're sitting there looking at one big stud that everybody loves, well, everybody loved Price. Everybody loved Cedric O. Everybody loved everybody that we've picked on the offensive line, and they had not worked out. So what I was saying is, if that's all that's there, rather than just taking all of your chips and putting him in on another lineman that we're going to just pray can produce in the NFL, not just in the Pac-12.
Yeah, which I'm not a big Pac-12 guy, so I don't know.
I'm not really either. And I'm just saying, if a team wants to jump up, they got a high grade on him, or they got a high grade on somebody that we might be going after. Hell, if they're coming from 15 down to 6, 7, 5, wherever we might be at, hey, let's take some extra third-round picks, a third and a fourth, or a third this year and a third next year, whatever. Move back a little bit. And it also kind of makes things a little easier when you're not drafting in the top 5, because if you miss on a 13, it's a lot easier than missing again big on a guy in the first 5 picks. That was my thinking. Just gives us a little more, because you never know when you're going to find that diamond in the rough. So why not try to add more players and find that guy, find that monster? And,
and the thing
is, he may not be a big name.
Yeah, if you could sign a right tackle, we could, like you said, we can find guards later in the draft. And if we can get more picks, the more picks, the better, I think. So, all right, Keith here. Let's see. The Bengals will split with AFC North, and your Ratbirds will be their couches along with the Bengals watching the playoffs after the first game, one and done. Blowing up here. All right, we got a prediction. All right, Keith, we have to mark the tape. Keith is down. Mark it down. KC, Green Bay, Super Bowl. Mark, you got it marked? All right, good.
He's marked.
Tape is marked. All right, cool. Keith, no, we won't. Not this time. You got all right. That's good. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. This kid LJ is very optimistic. 7, 8, and 1. I'm a huge optimist. I don't see that happening, dude. I'd love to be wrong. I am cool with being wrong. All right.
I'm still at 3 to 6. I'm still there. I'll probably always be there. I hope I'm dead wrong, but I'm kind of a realist when it comes to Bengals football after 38 years.
I'm more of a realist once the season starts. Beginning of the season, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be really good. Okay. What? I want to say Bob K's telling you something here, Jeremy. Hold on. Jeremy, over here, look like a damn military drill sergeant. It's unreal. You look like a military because you're.
I guess so.
I don't know.
Down, give me 20 if we lose this game.
Right. Oh, hey, we got a new comment here. Nathan, he usually good for a couple comments here. All right, Bengals. Oh, we got a Bengals mock draft.
Oh boy,
best one I found. Wayne Davis, guard. Second round, Eli Verge Tucker, a guard. Nate Bolin, linebacker 4. D'Angelo Maloney, edge. Number 5, Coleman Van Lynen, offensive tackle. Daz Newson, wide receiver, number 7. And oh my goodness, Tony, I'll just go with the last name, Tony, wide receiver. I mean, dude, honestly, I like mock drafts, but we're week 5, people. We're at week 5. I mean, the Pac-12 and the Ohio State have not even played a game yet. So, I mean, it is. I'll worry about the mock drafts and stuff like that when we get to like December. Then depending on if they might still be playing college football then. So, yeah.
I do like the Wyatt Davis pick though. He is.
Yeah.
He's one hell of a player. He's good.
Oh, hey, Bob's listening to you. Yes, sir, Jeremy. Yes, sir.
You got it, pal.
All right, Mike. Yep, Sam Hebbard will be back around the first game against the Steelers, which I believe was week 10. I gotta look at the schedule. I don't know. And dude, when you dislocate your elbow, I don't know when you're coming back because dislocating an elbow, Mike, is me and Jeremy both dislocated our shoulders, and they still ain't the same. So, But it was funny. I was listening to the Bengals Booth podcast. Now, this is how football has changed. All right. Sam Hebbard dislocated his elbow, and he's out for at least 3 weeks. Dave Lapham said, he said Tiger Johnson was his coach. So this has got to be back in the 70s. He dislocated his elbow. They popped it back in on the field. He ran back off the field. They taped it up, and Tiger Johnson goes, "All right, get back in there." he went back in and played. Like, that's freaking crazy. Yep. Like, that's how different the game is now compared to what it used to be. People say that's old school football. That's crazy if you ask me. But
yeah, I'm thinking 3 weeks. He should be all right. Tape it up. 3 weeks of rehab. Get back on the field, bro. We need you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Bob's taking off. All right, guys. I'm gone. Had fun. Trash talking. You both take care. See you, brother. We'll see you. Yeah, come tomorrow because Mike will be with us. We'll be actually doing the Bengals, Strawberry Ice Bengals Nation Fun Friday preview show for the Colts game. This is just kind of an improv thing. Didn't really know if Jeremy would jump on or not, but all right, let's see here. One more. I'm probably going to end this thing here, but let's see here. We got so many guys asking questions here. I try to get to all your questions. All right, my biggest belief, this is for Kid LT, my biggest belief for the Bengals is that they're going to slap around Mike Brown for a new brain. He's so dumb. Like, it's sad. You love your quarterback, love winning. Man, shouldn't have to. I don't think he's going to be slapping around Mike Brown anytime soon. The man's 80. It wouldn't be too much to slap him around. So anyway, all right, I'll get to my Facebook groups that I help run. Jeremy, you going to stick around to help me do the ending, our traditional ending?
Yeah, I'll still throw the ending out there for sure.
Right, let me get to the Facebook groups here. All right. Yeah. We got Facebook groups that Jeremy helps run a lot of them, but I run them all. Well, Mike runs them all. He's the big wig. We just help him. But anyway, they are Bengals Nation, Bearcats Country, Reds Country, and Cyclones Country. And I ask you to follow me on all my social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They're all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'll be pulling the sound off of this and putting it on the podcast later on today. So if you listen to it tomorrow, if you're working third shift or whatever, 5-star review. Or if you listen to it at third shift right now, give me a 5-star review. I would really appreciate it. We are rolling here. We're trying to get 700 as fast as we can on YouTube. I'm at 664. So if you guys are new to the show, you're finding it on Bengals Nation, Bearcats Country, wherever you're finding the show, go to YouTube, get yourself a little subscription. It's free. Type in Sports with Strawberry Ice, look me up, hit the like and subscribe button, and every time I'm on, you will be notified. Other than that, Jeremy Dane, would you please do the honor, sir?
Will do, man. Want to let everybody know, too, I made a cool little meme on Bengals Nation. It's got the road sign on the highway. Left side going straight says, "You don't live in Cleveland." The other side says, "You live in Cincinnati," and it's got the car jerking over into the right lane to get to Cincinnati. Exactly. So check that out. I made that for you guys. Hopefully I'll have a good poem after this week if we win. But until then.
They got to win to get a poem, though. They got to win to get a poem.
Right. They got to. And until that happens, just remember, guys, you don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati, so act like it.
Exactly. And that's your sports, baby. See ya.